Welcome to the Business of Government Hour TV, a video companion to our flagship radio program. I'm Michael Keegan, your host. What are the key strategic priorities for GAO's Center for Science, Technology, and Engineering? And what are technology readiness assessments? I'll explore these questions and so much more with our very special guest, Dr. Timothy Persons, the Chief Scientist at the U.S. Government Accountability Office. Take a look and download the entire interview at iTunes or businessofgovernment.org. So, Tim, what are the key strategic priorities for GAO's Center for Science, Technology, and Engineering?
Our first priority is to expand the breadth and depth of our work in terms of science and technology. The Controller General himself has a key strategic initiative just to expand science and tech. He's recognized himself strategically the pervasive nature and just the disruptive nature of scientific and technological innovation on society and so on. So doing more of that in service of more of the committees. GAO does work for 100% of the standing committees, House and Senate, and then usually anywhere between 75 and 80% of the subcommittees. So it's, again, very broad remit for a relatively modest-sized agency. So that's strategic priority number one. Number two is we want to reduce our cycle time and have and improve our focus on content. So this is shifting from the big, thick report type idea to be able to meet the congressional needs on their operational cycle time. And then the third strategic priority is just, I mentioned before, foresight. There is a market for foresight on Capitol Hill. It's not, again, a recognition that it's again, the Swami trying to predict the future, but it is the idea of looking beyond or what's the next or after next on these particular things. How do we think about these issues? Okay, we want to put a bill out. What's that going to do and the implications of that? Folks do it. We just want to do it at the next level if possible and pursue that. So those are the three things.
Mm-hmm. So, could you give us a definition, the GAO's definition of technology assessment?
We define technology assessment as the thorough and balanced analysis of technology innovation on society, the environment, the economy, and really looking at those ethical, legal, social, and policy implications therein. So that's a very broad type definition, but it's intentionally so. We're not there just to do sort of a consumer reports piece, as important as that may be by itself. We really are trying to support the legislative body or our clients in terms of how do you think about this or how to frame this or here's what could be coming down the line with these technological revolutions that we now live in. Oftentimes we're like the frog boiled slowly in the water. We don't know it's come upon us and yet here we are and we're so technology and innovation dependent on things. And so we're trying to really move in that direction to support Congress in that way.
Would you tell us more about the duties and responsibilities as chief scientist at GAO? What's under your purview? What portfolio?
So in my remit and as the chief scientist is really across anywhere science and technology shows up in GAO's work and support for the Congress. So that's really in three key ways. The first way is where I do lead specialized studies in science and technology of key scientific issues. So we, particularly in that domain, we now do a mission called Technology Assessments, which used to be done by the Office of Technology Assessment, which lived between 1972 and 1995. So leading those particularly technical studies where I need my staff engineers and physical scientists and so on to be able to address the questions Congress is asking, that's the first part. The second part is I'm also there to consult with the vast array of other mission teams in GAO where science and technology is found. It may not be the report itself is so tech-heavy or scientifically centric and so on, but they may have components of that. And so that's also an equally important body of work to make sure that all of GAO's mission teams are well served by our talents or insights or expertise, whether it's in environmental issues or health issues or weapons issues or what have you. And then the third piece is really where we're in engineering best practice like guides. And one of our recent guides that came out was the Tech Readiness Guide, but before that we have a scheduling guide and a life cycle cost estimating guide. And so that's really the operations research component of things, just to have that methodology and criteria down for how you even evaluate programs toward greater success or better outcomes. And it really helped the Congress in their oversight, insight, and foresight mission.
So, regarding your role and responsibilities, what are your top, say, 3 management or challenges that you face, and how have you sought to address them?
I think that the first key challenge for us is scope. So the idea of scope is a key challenge. Managing scope is just a key thing we do with other clients as well. They'll often ask for things that we just cannot deliver in any even shorter term period of time. So that's a key thing that we have to do. The second thing is just there's the breadth or the scope issue. There's also getting deep on things as well, and really helping out with these what I call the insight domain of supporting Congress is important to not only be able to work across things, but also have depth as well. The connotation, this has come out in the STEM circles, but it's the T person, right? The idea that the top is the breadth and the leg of the T, as it were, is the depth as well. And so that's the second key challenge. And then the third is really inculcating what I call the foresight dimension into these things. It's particularly important for our technology work, but I think it's important on anything we do to say, look, here's where it is now, and here's just the implications as you move forward.
Yeah, and I want to talk about a specific recent trend, and that is the data development analysis. And in particular, your work, the data analytics innovation, emerging opportunities and challenges, which is a report you folks put out, which I found very, very insightful. Could you describe for us what is meant by data analytics innovation, DAI?
It's really the idea of that data has become more ubiquitous, more abundant, more open. And then the analytics on those things, those analytics that really have defined a lot of the key recent innovations, the Facebooks and the social networking, the Ubers and the cab services or the ride-sharing type thing. But we're seeing DAI coming out also in the manufacturing sector. When you talk about the rise of the Internet of Things and the rise of the Internet of Everything, then you're connecting everything. There's risk there, of course, and so on, but that often presents opportunities economically for efficiency, productivity, and so on. And so DAI really wraps in all of these sort of things together, and in terms of this reduced cycle time of collecting data, applying analytics, and then getting insightful or insights from that apply to your new process, and it's sort of a wash, rinse, repeat type thing. But it happens very quickly now because computing is cheap, storage is cheap, et cetera.
So, Tim, thinking about the future real quick, what are some of the major opportunities you see for your office and maybe some of the key challenges?
I think the major opportunities for us are continuing to grow. We are highly relevant already. How we grow in our relevance, I think an opportunity for us as we move to a content-centric, but instead of just, again, you need to do the thick report type work, right? I don't want to somehow imply that we want to do just quick and shallow. I mean, but this idea of what if we strategically do our work in a way where we do the sort of the thick report kind of work, but we present it in content way, in a more agile way, so that, we're talking about lawmakers that are now at the hearings pulling out their mobile phones and they're reading on that screen questions or they're reading issues in real time. So I think that's an opportunity. I think I've covered the data-centric nature in the agile way of the way we could do things here. There is now a new Center for Enhanced Analytics at GAO that's recognizing this. How do we do this in an enhanced way? So I think that opportunity is there.
Be sure to join us next time on the Business of Government Hour TV for another informative, insightful, and in-depth conversation on improving government and its effectiveness. Take a look and take a listen, and don't forget to download all of our interviews at iTunes or at businessofgovernment.org.